God, being an introvert sucks, right? No. I'm Dan with Live Life in Your Frame, which is living life the way that you want to live, not anyone else's way that wants you to live, and creating a life that is yours. And I'm an introvert. I'm an extreme introvert. And many may not know that because if you started a conversation with me, I could talk, but I just listen. I don't like to hear myself talk. I like to listen. And it happened ever since I was a young kid. And I just like to listen because listening, I would gain more information. When I talk, I don't gain information. I just talk about myself and I just hear myself talk. So I listen. And I learned that because my father was emotionally abusive. So I hid and I became an introvert and I just learned that way. And I think that being an introvert is a good thing. But we have a struggle being an introvert. And if you are an introvert, stay tuned because I have many years of dealing with being an introvert and it never gets easier, but you learn to adapt to it. And being an introvert has goods. It does have goods. And I think a lot of people think that if you're an introvert, like, oh, I wish I would have talked to that girl. I wish I would have talked to that guy. I wish I would have started a conversation. Why did I say that? And then you sit there for hours contemplating on what you said. And it still happens for me, even after all these years. Like, but you have to learn that it's not a bad thing because people just forget about it. And there are more extroverts than there are introverts because people like to hire extroverts. Extroverts are the ones that like to talk and like to sell and like to do this and like to do that. Introverts just like to listen. Introverts like to write. Introverts like to read. Introverts are very, very inside. And we keep ourselves inside. And I think that we also contemplate a lot in life. And we contemplate everything in life. And that is me. I just learned to contemplate everything because I'm an introvert. And so let me just start off by saying the good things about being an introvert is that you are a good listener. No matter what anyone says, you are a good listener because you don't want to talk and you just listen and you just learn that communication is key to everything in life. And so if you ever met an extrovert, like a really, really extroverted person, and they just talk about their life, and this is the worst, if you've met an extrovert and they just talk about themselves all day and what they did and what they did, and they don't even ask you one thing about yourself, and you're just like, and you're like, God, you didn't even ask me one thing? You didn't ask me? But by you listening, you understand who they are, what they are. You learn to understand their mannerisms. You can see when they're lying. Introverts are very good at detecting liars. Introverts are very good at just scanning the environment because we are hypersensitive to our environment. It's because we don't have that capacity to just go off and talk to anyone. We're just quiet. And the thing is yeah, I am an introvert, but I want to be a motivational speaker, which doesn't make any sense, but it's because I want to tell other people who may feel that they're introverted and that something's wrong with them. Because let me tell you, when I grew up, I was an introvert all my life, and I would beat myself up for being an introvert because everyone that was around me was extrovert. I didn't meet very many introverted people. And I felt like, why can't I just be like them? Why can't I just approach people? Why is it hard for me to talk to the cashier or to just talk to a stranger? And I did develop better, but I'm still an introvert no matter what. It's never going to leave. And I think that is because of traumas from my father. And he made me be on survival mode all the time. So I had to be aware of my situations. I can't be talking. I had to be listening and observing. And you can't be talking and observing at the same time. So there are good things about being an introvert. So if you are an introvert, don't beat yourself up, because beating yourself up is only going to make it worse. So there are bad things about being introverts. Obviously, we miss out on opportunities, maybe job opportunities, or miss out on maybe meeting people, maybe just anything. There's just so many things that we miss out on. And we second guess ourselves all the time. We second guess ourselves. Oh, I wish I would have talked to that person. I wish I would have talked to that girl. I wish I would have talked to that guy. But in our head, we're so introverted. Like we're all in our head. We're thinking too much. We think. Extroverts don't think. They just blurt. And I have short story. I have my best friends growing up were all extroverts. And why they wanted to be around an introvert, I don't know. But I could watch and observe, and I can learn everything about an extrovert. I can learn how they approached a girl. I can learn how they got the sales job. I can learn how they just did things that I could not do. And it just taught me a lot. It taught me how to expand myself, to grow from being really, really introverted to semi-introverted, to be able to actually speak to some people and to actually be like, okay, get some courage and approach that person. And it's still hard. It's still hard. It all, like, getting rejected, getting just talking, just, it's never going to be easy for you. But the bad, I think, is not the worst. I think it's better to be an introvert than extrovert. I'm sorry if you're an extrovert. Extroverts have great qualities too, because they do things that we introverts can't. So the loneliness. Introverts are lonely. Why? Because we don't go out, we don't meet people, we don't question, we don't talk to people, we don't ask people their names walking down the street. And if you've been with an extrovert, they're just like, hey, how's it going? And they just make it seem so simple because they don't care. They like to hear themselves talk. Us, we're like, in our minds, like, how do they do that? I don't know. And I think it's just part of our brain circuit and how we developed as children, maybe from trauma and things, and we just scope the environment. Like, I can go into a grocery store and I can hear everything going on at once, and I can know what's going on at once, and I have to get out of the grocery store like ASAP. An extrovert will start talking to every person in there, the cashier or whatever. But don't let that make you feel like you aren't warranted, because we have something that they don't, and that is the ability to question. Extroverts, they're not questioning as much. They may be questioning some, but they're not going to be questioning as much as an introvert. So, and if you are an introvert, you are going to struggle. And I think also too is we begin to grow. We have to we struggle more, we have to grow more, we have to take on a lot. We have to take on a lot of courage. And I just feel for people that are introverted, because it's like going to a party. It sounds like, man, I don't want to go there. Going on a date is just like, God, it seems so like, I'd rather just be alone, you know? And especially if you have a dog. And a lot of introverted people have dogs, because it's like, at least I have something with me and you don't feel alone. But it's not a bad thing. I think that we have to learn to just be able to grow, at least, so that we can adapt and try to maybe talk to some people. And we can't be just completely introverted where we can't say anything. We have to learn to talk and communicate and be able to meet people, because otherwise, then what good is it? But the best introverts are in society are some of the greatest, profound people. I mean, I think Einstein would not call himself an extrovert. I would say Sigmund Freud would not call himself an extrovert. I would say Elon Musk is definitely an introvert, and Facebook, whatever his name is not an extrovert. So people, we think 24/7, and it gets exhausting. And I think that's why we don't go out and talk to people, because we're so exhausted with talking to ourselves, to questioning everything in our environment, and we don't have the energy. We just don't have the energy to go out and just talk to random strangers. Like, I remember living in San Diego, and people waiting, I could hear a door open, and I would wait till I could see them get in the car, because I didn't want to like have conversation. And usually the conversation was fine, but it still just like ate me up. I just like got anxiety by having to approach someone and talk to them, or someone saying hi to me, or someone that knows me, and I try to hide. And I know anyone that's an introvert has been there and has tried to hide from a situation. They see someone that they know, and they're like, oh my God, I gotta hide. But that extroverted person, they see you, and they're like, oh hey, what's up Dan, how you doing? And it's just, we have to understand that extroverts have good qualities and introverts do too. But the thing is I don't think extroverts beat themselves up about being extroverted, because they have ability to just keep talking and keep not questioning themselves. We have the ability to keep questioning ourselves, and a lot of it is why. And I think why are we on this planet? I think partly we were put here from, this may sound crazy, from somewhere. We were chosen to be here for a reason, and we all have a reason. We all have a purpose, and we were asked. And I think we did not. Right now, you may say I didn't want to be an introvert, but I think that we chose this. And also, if that is not true, that's just me guessing. But if that's not true, we have parents, and a lot of that is, when we're children, we pick up on all that stuff. And when I said my dad was emotionally abusive, I had to be on alert. I couldn't be talking all the time. I had to be listening. I had to be quiet. I had to be in my head. I had to be like watching and observing, and then second guessing and making observations. So that's not like, an extroverted person wouldn't do well in that situation. He would combat him, and he would fight him back more. So I had to be quiet. I had to keep, for my survival mechanism. And I think that for a lot of us, we have a survival mechanism to be introverted, and that saves us from further abuse. And in therapy, when I learned in therapy classes, is there are like, there's different spectrums of people. Some are a little bit introverted, some are a little bit extroverted, some are, once you get to know someone, you can be extroverted, and I'm that type. I like to get to know people, and I get extroverted when I know them. But before then, I'm completely introverted, and I could walk by, like today, I could walk by hundreds of people, and I talk to one or two people, and they open the conversation, not me. And rarely ever do I open a conversation. So, which is hard if you're a male and you want to meet a girl, or you want to meet a mate, and you see someone that you like, and it's just not in you. You just don't have the energy. You just don't have the capacity to do it. And you can get better, and I've done it before, and I've learned to be better. And I think that with time, and one of my therapists said that is, what someone thinks about me is none of their business. And I think that's a really good thing to say, because what they think about me is none of my business. They could think of whatever they want, but that comes down to confidence and self-esteem. So you have to have all these things in order for you to be a very well-rounded introvert. So don't try to be an extrovert if you are an introvert. And I tried to be an extrovert, and I wanted to be, and I beat myself up for every time I wouldn't do the things that, like, go after the job that I wanted, go after the woman that I wanted, to go after things that I wanted in life because of that. But I learned to go after them, but still be myself, because I can't go and be an extrovert, because that's not who I am. And I think that if you are a truly introverted person, it's just not gonna feel genuine and authentic to you. And so, do you wish you were different? Sometimes, yeah, sometimes I do. And sometimes I wish I'd chosen a different path. Sometimes I wish, if God or whatever, the universe told me, said, hey, do you want to be an introvert and struggle and grow, and it's going to be hard, but you're going to have to do it, but you're going to make changes in other people's lives. Sometimes I would rather be an extrovert, but I think being an introvert, I question things, I learn things more, I read, I write, I know I'm not right at anything. That's why I make these videos, and I'm not like in any other YouTuber that says this is how you do it and this is how you do it, because we don't know what is right and wrong. We don't know what is this. We don't know where we came from. We don't know where we're going. We don't know anything. We can't say for truth. We just have belief. And my belief is that I was an introvert so that I can write and I can come up with great sayings, and I can come up with great ideas, because a lot of introverts have great ideas. Extroverts are good at executing them, but introverts are very good at ideas. So we need both. We need like positive and negative. We need both. So if you're an introvert, like, don't be mad at yourself. Do not beat yourself up, because that just ruins you. That will just break you. And if you're an extrovert, don't wish you were an introvert. Just be aware that you're an extrovert, and maybe instead of just talking, maybe just ask and try to learn more, because we both need to communicate in some sort of way where we both understand each other. So I don't wish I were different, and sometimes I do, but overall I would not want to run the rat race, and I would never want to be like everyone else, because I think that being unique and being an introvert is is something that is you should learn to be proud of, and eventually you develop those skills, and you develop those skills to write or read or be an artist. Like artists are musicians. They're very introverted people. Not a lot of them are extroverts. So I just want to make this video for people that are introverted, because I'm very highly introverted, and it has plagued me for a lot of my life. It has caused me a lot of depression, addiction, and suicidal ideations, and a lot. So there is more to life, and you just have to learn to grow and have to learn to accept yourself for being introverted. And you're not going to be extrovert. It's just not in you. It's not. If you want to be authentic and genuine, you have to just learn to be an introvert. So if you are an introvert, and if any of this rings any tone, and if it makes any sense, just leave a message below, comment below. If you're an extrovert and you disagree, leave a comment, or if you're vice versa, leave a comment. I just wanted to put that out there, because most of the times I will cancel dates and stuff because I'm so introverted that it's like I don't want to go out to meet a bunch of random people. And I know it's hard. Sometimes you have to do that. And I think that we need to recharge ourselves when we are out there and we talk to so many people, or if we are in an environment where we are around a lot of people. So let me know in the comments below if you're introvert, extrovert, what you think about that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.